Gardens are inseparably woven into the history of man's fall and redemption. It was in a garden that man first fell into sin. In another garden, the Son of Man began the final steps in atonement for that sin. The Garden of Gethsemane had become familiar to Jesus. He had used it often as his prayer room. Here he had spent hours in communion with his Father, and the garden echoed with his prayers. Here he was at home, and here he came to prepare for and to begin those last dreadful hours. But there was another reason for Jesus to come here. Judas, too, knew the place. What had to be done needed to be done quickly. It seemed unnecessary to lengthen the ordeal by having Judas search for the Lord. Judas knew the habits of his Lord, and if Jesus came to the garden, Judas would find him promptly. The appointed hour was coming swiftly. Jesus would come to the garden. Judas would be there too. And so the garden waited during the evening hours while the Lord sat with his disciples. One more time to be together, one more time to teach, one more time to give of himself, and he did. He gave them a new covenant, the sacrament of that New Testament about to begin. He told them not to be afraid. And then he led them out into the night which had received Judas some hours earlier. As the small group approached the garden, the dread within Jesus grew. "Stay here," he said to his disciples as they passed the gate. And then, almost as an afterthought, he asked his 3 best-loved disciples to come along. It was not yet time to be alone. Already he was feeling the deep, nameless dread, the awful fear that engulfed him. "I am filled with agony." He pleads, "Stay here, pray, and watch with me." There was no time to answer, for he'd already gone forward a short distance and had fallen to the earth. He wrestled in prayer as though with unseen forces, and his sweat was like blood. He prayed, "My Father, you can do anything. Take this cup away from me, but let it not be as I want it, but as you want it." The agony and the prayer increased until there stood above him an angel with strength to endure the cup of suffering that could not be avoided. Surely, in the events here in the garden was proof, if proof be needed, that Jesus was indeed true Son of the Father, who was made man. As the Son of God, he knew what lay ahead. He knew every frightening, awful, God-forsaken moment of it. But he also knew the heaven he had left and the reason for leaving it. As true man, every fiber of him rebelled at what lay ahead. He fought with himself. As both Son of God and Son of Man, he fought this awful thing. He asked for release, but ultimately he bowed before the will of his Father. The first agony had been endured. Jesus had accepted his Father's will and had been strengthened. The agony had not ended, perhaps only subsided a bit, as for the 3rd time he rose from prayer and came to his disciples. Came to wake his friends who could not watch for weariness. They walked slowly to the gate to meet the other disciples and Judas. And Judas came, Judas, with a host of soldiers and guards. Jesus was calm now and completely in control of the situation. He had been strengthened as only God can strengthen, and he turned from Gethsemane to face the cup his Father could not remove. And now, after the anguish from within, came torture from without, as Judas and the band of soldiers approached. They, the whole company, moved forward to take this one unarmed man. But as he had told Peter, He was neither unarmed nor unguarded. Once more he let his Godhead show as he struck the soldiers to the ground with the word, I am he. Even now in his suffering, he thought of his disciples. Let these men be, he said. The soldiers did as he commanded, and the disciples were free to go, to flee, to hide. Judas had arranged a sign by which the soldiers should recognize Jesus. I will kiss him so that you will not mistake another for him. This I will do for 30 pieces of silver, 30 shining, jingling coins. It must have been agony to see Judas approach and offer his master the sign of love and respect. Friend, Jesus calls him still. Why are you here? Do you betray the Son of Man with a kiss? Supreme mockery. He who was friend of sinners, who showed his love and concern for others, to be sold by a kiss. It may be said of Peter, impetuous, devoted Peter, that he rushed to his Lord's defense. He may not have remembered, or remembering, not fully understood the words spoken in the upper room. It still seemed quite incredible to him that this was happening. Not while he lived would anyone lay hands on his Lord. Later, Peter could see why the Lord said, Peter, put up thy sword. And so Peter too left, and Jesus was taken from the garden. Because he betrayed Jesus, we may think contemptuously of Judas. We assure ourselves smugly that we would never have betrayed him. Yet we and the millions who call themselves by his name daily betray him by actions, thoughts, and words. He is betrayed whenever we promise to forsake our pet sins and then promptly return to them. He is betrayed when our love and service extend no further than Sunday. When we say, I'll worship and sing and pray today, but tomorrow, don't bother me. Don't ask me to give of myself, of my time to the church or to others. He is betrayed when we say that we are his disciples, but refuse to follow either his command or example. He has been betrayed by Judas and by us. Because of this betrayal, he was led away to face denial, trial, and death. And just as the first man left a garden because of sin, the Son of Man left a garden to atone for sin. He went toward his death in love to redeem all betrayers, Judas and us.